Many thanks to Kenneth Odele coming to us live from Bukedia, reporting on the developments on the ground in as far as the Uganda Certificate of Education exam is concerned. And welcome to the Kickstarter for those that are just joining us right now. If you've been with us, it's a pleasure. We'll be talking about the 2025 UCE exam inside the nationwide rollout. Just get some basic facts right here. A total of 432,159 candidates, of which 154,637 are government funded under the Universal Secondary Education Program, registered to sit for this year's UCE exam at 4,308 centers across the country. The Uganda National Examinations Board has deployed 1,500 scouts to man the exam, but the actual number of supervisors, invigilators and area supervisors is not clear, since teachers usually take up such tasks but are currently on industrial action. Those are the art teachers. But according to UNEB, nearly 2,000 teachers turned up for briefing sessions last Friday across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me the Public Relations Officer at the Uganda National Examinations Board for this Kickstarter conversation, Jennifer Kalule. Many thanks for joining us, Ms. Jennifer Kalule Musamba.
And thank you for inviting us. A very good morning, viewers.
Great. We're also joined by Honorable Joseph Sewungu, the Member of Parliament for Kalungu West. He's also Shadow Minister for Education and a seasoned professional teacher. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
I would be remiss if I don't give Ms. Jennifer Kalule Musamba the opportunity to brief us on the very latest in as far as the 2025 UCE exam is concerned. Anything and everything that we need to know right now.
Okay, thank you so much, and a very good morning once again. I heard you saying that the number of visitors is not yet known. Actually, we know them because we did deploy them, and these are deployed from the district levels. So we had about 20,000 invigilators, and what I can report is that yesterday we did not have any center missing in an absentee invigilator or an absentee scout. So as a board, we are very grateful to the teachers. Despite the industrial action, they actually heeded our plea, because we asked them not to connect the examinations to the industrial strike. Because this is a professional engagement we have with them, just for a short while. It is a specified engagement, and they do come up to us. It's kind of like a short contract, about 5 days, because each one of them. Because now we have a set of scouts for week 1, and then they will come back. We have another set of scouts for the next week. So we engage them for about 5 days or so, and we pay them separately from the mainstream. So it's kind of like a private arrangement, and it's more of like a voluntary work actually outside the mainstream. So we did request them, when we have engagements with them, to please do not tag it to the industrial strike, and indeed they did agree, and we had all of them turn up at all our centers. The scouts were there full time, and the invigilators, and these are all mainly teachers in practice. So we want to thank them so much for accepting to put aside the strike and then consider the professionalism, because they're the ones who have been teaching these learners all this time. So they also want them to get assessed, because this is a major gate for the learners. And like any teacher, once you teach the learners, you want them to be assessed. PLE takes them to the next level of secondary, UCE takes them to the next level of higher education, then USCE to the next level of and the next level maybe of a higher institution of learning, which could be university or college. So we do appreciate their concerns, but we also appreciate that they were able to heed to our appeals and they turned up. Otherwise, day 1 was really good. The weather was good. We were able to deliver the papers, all the materials, to the stations in good time, by the evening of Sunday. And on day 1, because it's the teachers, heads of centers, who collect them from our stations, they did collect them. We didn't get any issues to do with, late deliveries. The few technical hitches that were there were really very little, like the graph paper, which was not clear, just some printing issues, and these were handled at that local level. Another bit that I heard of yesterday in biology, I think there was also another printing challenge, and that's because I think of the way was just at some center, but was also sorted. Otherwise, we did not have many challenges. The mega problem that we got was a school in Nachifuma which did not get registered. They called me up on Sunday afternoon, and I was in another engagement. By the time I got to the office, the boss had left, and there was just no way, there was nothing much you could do. And I linked up with the ED on Sunday evening. We did link up with the technical team, the IT team which does the registration. But at that time, we did not even have any information. This is a school which does not have a center number. And then, so there was no, we did not have any records for them. We needed to establish, did they submit the scores for continuous assessment? How many learners are there? So there was nothing, and yet there was nobody at the school to provide the information. So all we could do was to advise them to go to police and file up a case, but we couldn't do much. Until the hour of midnight, we were trying to see how can we help these learners. Where can we fix them anyway? Because we do not have a center number, and they didn't have a center number. So it was a very tricky situation. What we learned is that 18, the candidates were supposed to be 18, and I think the head teacher registered only 3 of them, the neighboring school called Modern something. Our teams are going there this morning to establish and see, and of course our legal team is also taking it up. It's quite unfortunate. And now we want to encourage all the parents out there, please be actively involved in the teaching, in the learning and the assessment of your children. Don't wait until the last day to confirm if your child is registered. I now want to call upon the parents of PLE candidates and USC candidates, kindly, you still have some time, can you confirm if your child is registered? Right now, because we did, according to the law, we request, we are supposed to display registers of candidates at the schools 60 days before commencement of examinations. And we did this, we did ask the school to display the registers from the 10th of August to the 10th of October, which was Friday, the day of briefing. And indeed, and at that time we asked them, go and confirm if your child is registered. We also have the SMS option, whereby you need to know the full index number of the child. You go to the SMS option of on your phone, put in reg, leave space, put in the full index number of the candidate, send to 6600. During that period, now it is closed. So during that time, you can confirm if your child is registered. In case they're not registered, get back to the school, find out why. In case there's a problem, get to us. And we're able to help so many schools, so many learners to register their candidates. Until Saturday the 11th, we did register candidates. We registered all those who came up to us. Okay.
Thank you very much. Earlier in the program, I was up in arms against the Uganda National Examinations Board for failure to act on those head teachers and elements within our education system who perpetually betray learners and parents. I don't know whether there has been any particular trail of prosecution. You will talk to us about that a little shortly, but allow me engage Honorable Sewungu. What's your bird's eye view of the UCE as it rolled out yesterday? I know there are a lot of encumbrances that you could want to talk about right now. We shall be diving into the teacher strike and how it is affecting this whole thing, but let me first get your overview. Yeah, you see, UNEB, I want to thank them very much. UNEB is one of the organized institutions we have in education, not because she's here and they know how I attack them when they come to Parliament, but at least the systems that were set. Yes. You see, from Matthew Bukenya, the late, may he rest in peace, and the current executive secretary, they are the original pillars of UNEB. They are the ones who shaped UNEB. One, UNEB will always give exams depending on the syllabus. That's for them, whether you've taught or you've not taught, they will do whatever, they will set their exams. Because for them, they come in at the end after you've done your teaching. However, my interest is on the strike. Teachers, this time we managed to come. You managed them because of poverty. But I wish you not to had sustained their strike up to the end of doing exams. You see, we want to have this issue of teachers to come to the end once and for all. But of course, with the teachers, and one time I was a scout, and I know how I was earning when I was doing that work. There's some good earning.
and it is a good feast during that period of exams, as long as your name goes on the list of those who are going to monitor and supervise exams. However, we have a challenge in Uganda. Most of our parents don't take enough time minding about their children, including me. I can attest here, I don't know how my daughter was registered. She's sitting P7 because I'm in politics. It is my wife who takes care. But when you go deep into the villages, parents are not aware. And there's another score your neighbor is getting. If you are still registering students up to now with the proof that really they had paid their money, that's good. But the law, I am among the members who made this law in Parliament. I don't know that your neighbor comes in where teachers fail to register students. I think there must be a section, clause we gave. Yeah, it's criminal, by the way.
It is.
But I don't know why the teachers have failed to adhere to that. Yeah, I've been listening to radios. Children were crying. Students were crying. We want to do papers, we want to do exams. But of course, for me, schools are lacking a lot of required equipment to make information parents. In rural areas, there is no internet. Parents don't have phones, but that's not a mistake on UNEB. Yeah. What I want to see, my challenges with UNEB is how they come into grade, but that will come at the end. I'm worried that he might even change the grading of P7 because teachers are not teaching. And at the last hour, I don't know how strategic these people were, Uganda National Teachers Union, to bring in their industrial action towards exams. I have been in Bunyoro. I visited the Kakumiro, where the Prime Minister studied from, near our home. The school is bushy, and children are not studying. And that one, I'm not feared to talk about her, because she's the leader of government business. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Public Service, and the Minister of Education must come together and solve the issue of teachers, because these people I know, you can attest here, they were worried of teachers not coming to carry out their duty. But with the good payment they give.
Let's get clarity on the arrangement that has been put forth by UNEB to allow teachers who are undertaking industrial action to be part of the...
You see, they have to, let me say this, because they are out of school, that's factual.
Yeah.
It's factual. But this is another arrangement now.
So they are on contract.
They are on contract. Just 4 days, 5 days, and there's some good money. One wants to get fees for his children because there's someone who is scouting O level. She has told you, Madame Kalule, said they are going to have about 5 days or 10 days, and I know what is paid per day. That one is okay. But what are the results? What results are we going to get out of there?
Will it be treasonous?
You will never convince me. No one will ever convince me that I've been teaching that the grading of O level came by UNEB. There was a reason why performance was poor. Even P7 will be changed. They will soon get also result 1, result 2. But that's for another day. For another day. However, we all need our children to study, do examinations, be graded, and get their results for continuity.
Okay.
But the challenge we have is on us legislators. And I saw the Speaker of Parliament. She met the Uganda National Teachers Union. But the Speaker would be receiving. But because she had the challenges, I think when she went to our areas, people were complaining. It should have been the Ministry of Education and the Public Service coming out first before the Speaker comes in. That one I give her credit as a Speaker because she came in to convince. I was in Kalungu recently. The Vice President was attending a function at St. Teresa under SS. She said, the Honorable Sewong, arrange for me all your teachers in the constituency, in the district, we meet them. Of course, they have not come, but it's not about meeting them. What UNEB has done is what is supposed to be done by Minister of Education. Because I can tell you, some of us, I did my diploma, I did my degree. Sometimes I was getting money from UNEB. From that money they were giving me to supervise or to work as a scout. I would use it to pay for my bachelor's. And definitely, the number of teachers going out to carry out this work is not so big as he has stated.
There seems to be an understanding or an appreciation by the officials at the Uganda National Examinations Board of paying stipend that is worth the job done. And here we have teachers, or a situation where they are calling for salary that is commensurate to the work that they do. I don't know whether the planners in the education system do grapple with understanding these modalities, because you do appreciate entirely that these scouts are going to do this job, and then you're paying them a fee or a stipend so good that they forget they are striking against the same, you see, related issues.
Someone just let me tell you this. In the first spirit of the teachers, they have never wished to strike. They have never. For them, they want to continue teaching. By the way, I'm not supposed to be in parliament as well.
Great.
I went to parliament to fight for teachers. That's why I've refused to leave the Committee of Education. So what they are teaching, still it is them to examine the students. Even the examinations themselves UNEB is giving come from these fellow teachers. They prepare them. So, but it is, as I stated, from the executive secretary and the late, that's how they brought him to control the issues of malpractice. Because by all standards, if UNEB can pay people who are carrying out the supervision of examinations very well, what makes the one who has carried out the work to lead to examinations be paid poor?
That is the question.
That's what the problem is. But the problem is not only them.
Unfortunately, that's not a question for Madam Jennifer Kalule, because it's more to the Ministry of Education. But allow me engage you on inclusivity and the special needs candidates this year. We have about 6,779 with special needs. That's a significant milestone. I do not know where the technical support has been offered sufficiently. There are schools that have these establishments, including ramps, to allow for students to access classrooms. There are those that are basically constrained on these resources. What is the support structure like?
Okay, what we do as a board, during the time of registration, we encourage them to indicate the special need for the child. And there are different special needs. There are those who have hearing impairments, those who cannot talk, those who have visual challenges, they need large font, and then there are those who need to have, they have dyslexia, they need to have transcribers. So once they submit those details, our teams go there and confirm. And when we go there, actually, we realize that in some schools, they don't even report the disability. But now more and more, I think with sensitization and working with partners in the Ministry of Education, more people are coming up to take candidates, children with disability to school. So by the time of registration, they are aware and they indicate them in our registers. Although we also have a challenge where schools are trying to use it as a malpractice, because we give them an extra 45 minutes. So at times they can get some of the people who are brilliant, or the ones they want to get an extra 45 minutes, indicate them that they have a disability here and there. But once we test them, we establish that they don't have a disability, and then we can take them off the list. Otherwise, we have and still, just like we do call out for other professionals, we contract transcribers, sign language interpreters. We contract those who are going to talk with the braille, who are going to support them in different ways. We come, we train them, we test them, and then we also brief them, and then they go out there and support these learners. Of course, there are issues of integrity there, because we tell them, much as somebody send the child whom you're transcribing for is a special need, you don't need to give them the answers. So we try to see, if you're a teacher of mathematics, then you don't transcribe for mathematics for this child, just to make sure we kind of phase out all those, we remove any kind of avoidance of doubt. But we do our best, although the numbers are also overwhelming, and at times we don't have enough budget to cover all this, but we do our best, as long as somebody has signed with us. And now we've gone a long way to also ensure we do have the braille answer sheets for the learners with with eyesight impairment, and then we have the transcribers, and then we do the large font for those who have low vision and things like that. And then there are those who get usually what we call circumstantial impairment. God forbid if a child
circumstantial
impairment. Like you're going, if let's say if someone got an accident right now and I can't write. So we have to be there to
somebody broke an arm and they have
under the circumstances you are not able to write as you could have written before. So we also include them. What to do in such a situation, let's say if it's an S4 candidate, we look for an S2 child to help them write there and then before we are able to. So
they speak, the other one writes?
Yes. Before we are able to get somebody on board immediately. But afterwards we get somebody on board who is professional, but immediately. And then we also have cases, I haven't heard of any, but also pregnancy. Those are circumstantial impairments. Because as long as you are registered for us with your name, we make sure you do the examination, whether you're pregnant or not. So we'd give you the extra 45 minutes if you need it. If say you are visually, let me say, because pregnant ladies, even if you're a big person, you go in and out, and
that is right.
So you get an extra 45 minutes and stuff like that. And even if you just delivered your baby, you can even have the baby around you.
All right, Honorable Sobungu, that is no doubt very commendable developments and support structures for many of the learners and candidates who will be writing their papers. But allow me, I just go back to something that you seemed to be uncomfortable with. The law here, Article 32 of the Uganda National Examinations Board Act 2001.
That's our act.
That's your act.
Cap
259. I see a person who is authorized or who purports to be authorized by an examination center to collect examination registration fees from students to be registered for an examination who fails or neglects to remit to the examinations board the registration fees, commits an offense and is liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 2,000 currency points or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 10 years or both. Now, I do not know whether it is my inability to have my pulse on the ground. I haven't heard of a prosecution of a school head in the past years who did not remit these fees and led to the kind of agony that those who miss exams do go through. As a legislator, I do not know whether we can work out something, but this shouldn't happen next year.
You know why that law was put in place? It is because of those challenges that were existing by then. But of course, through you, I will ask you, Neb, you have to provide those laws to schools, or you direct them to have them, by them. But of course, ignorance of the law is no defense.
No defense.
It's no defense.
Yeah.
But I don't know what goes wrong with head teachers in the schools. I don't know. But it's all about supervision and inspection. In Uganda, the education system, the inspection department is very weak. And all those things are as a result of that. Because the registration of students starts with your name, but the biggest role is played at the districts, I think. The district, with inspectors for secondary school. I don't know, that starts with the ministry. But I would think that the law must take its course, because once a student loses a year after spending 4 years, his or her parents paid the money, why should the head teacher fail to register that child? And of course, some of them are going to take off. They will not even see them themselves. They run away. It's about confusion. But the challenge in Uganda, somehow education has become commercial. And many schools go against the enable directives. They charge far over and above the money required by UNEB. That's also criminal. And at the end of the day, parents pay this money. I have so many issues I have talked with UNEB, but I think such things must be handled. Lastly, I would talk about the special needs. We have a full vote for that in Uganda, and such items must be put in place. My son, my only son I have, is a hemophilic. I wrote to them when he was doing senior 6, because whenever he writes, he continues bleeding. They gave me a teacher who went and supervised because he wanted some extra time to do it. All those areas are given attention. I don't want to complain about them. Slow learners are given attention. That one is done by your neighbor, as long as you inform them in time. But the government provision of those requirements that facilitate slow learners, sometimes your neighbor comes in, but they should be put in place before. They should be put in place before. That is very, very key. Because some of them are brighter than those who are normal.
That is right.
They are better than those who are normal. But they only need every facilitation that makes them move on. Okay. The only challenge we have now, I don't know, like UPE, when you go to our areas where there are those P7 children, they might be seeing the white paper for their first time doing PLE. And the type of, I've visited a number of schools doing campaigns. I found the only P7 children at school teaching themselves, and I looked at the materials they are going through. You just cry. But that is not for your neighbor.
That is not for your neighbor.
That's not for your neighbor. And that's why I'm interested in having a P7 teachers refusing to go to scout to PLE. We see whether UPDF can do that work. As they are always intimidating teachers. But yeah, I know teachers will do the same. But if Philbert Baguma could do, work hard on his PLE, primary teachers, to continue the strike up to PLE. They don't appear. You need to sit waiting for scouts at Buntinda. No one appears. Then they bring you PDF to go and monitor and scout PLE. That would be the best day for me in my life.
What would be the gain for us now? As a
because we want teachers to get their pay, their rights. We end the striking of teachers once and for all. That's my interest.
So the days of PLE, would it really be the one to end it?
Let me tell you, even in the COVID, if things had gone bad, PLE would not have been done. But it was done because Madam Kalule, let me tell you this. If we can achieve that from the industrial action, teachers refuse to go for PLE marking, they refuse to go for PLE examinations, scouting. UPDF comes in, you recruit UPDF to do everything as government wants.
Thank you, Honorable Sewungu, for that submission, and many thanks to you too. I'm going to have to go for a break, but when we return, I'll be asking questions about this being the second cohort of candidates to seat UCE under the competence-based lower secondary curriculum that was rolled out in 2020. What are the prospects and what are the gains, so to speak? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Joe and my colleague who has hosted them, Alex Israel Ahumuza, standing here at Kabale Central Police Center, the UNEBA Center, where in the background behind me, that is where it is located, and various school heads have come to pick the examination. I'm told that today our candidates will sit for Physics 1 examination. But as you know, the exams officially kick-started yesterday in Kabale and the entire Chigezi region. We didn't have any hurdles. There was no downpour, and the weather was calm yesterday, and it is still calm even right away, even now. But also what we've surfaced, I'm told that those schools located in the hard-to-reach areas, you know, Kabale is coupled with very many hills. The schools, including Butanda Senior Secondary School, Kahondo Secondary School, and other schools located in the hill areas, the commencement of the exams delayed, and the exam that was supposed to start at 9 started at 10, and even 30 minutes past 10. And this didn't only affect Kabale district, but also in other districts like Kanungu, Chisolo, and Rwanda, part of Rwanda. So basically that is where we stand in Kabale and Chigezi at large.
Welcome back, and many thanks to Alex there reporting from Kabale on developments this morning as the second day of the Uganda Certificate of Education exam gets underway. We shall be getting more updates later in the day in our subsequent bulletins, NTV at 1, NTV Akaongezi, as well as NTV Tonight as part of 360-degree coverage of the national exam. In studio, I have with me the Public Relations Officer at the Uganda National Examinations Board, Jennifer Kalule Musamba, as well as Honorable Joseph Sewungu, MP for Kalungu West, but also one of the seasoned professional teachers in the country. He's also Shadow Minister for Education. As we went into the break, I put the observation that this is the second cohort of candidates to sit UCE under the competence-based lower secondary curriculum that was rolled out by government in 2020. And it's a system that promotes critical thinking and leveraging on ICT on two fronts. On your front, as the Uganda National Examinations Board spokesperson, we want to understand how has the rollout been? Is it smooth? What are the hitches and the glitches, if there are any? And on your part, Honorable Minister, what is the impact, especially when it comes to improving learners' critical thinking? Let's begin with you, Madam.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, like you rightly say, this is the second year for rolling out the competence-based assessment based on the new curriculum, which is competence-based. For us as a board, we've been doing, it's been a series, it's a learning experience, and we have so far done, I think before, for the first cohort, we did 2 pre-tests for these ones, and we've also done so far we did 2 pre-tests even for them as well, because when they were next 3, we did a pre-test to test our items, and at the time they were doing the mocks, we did a pre-test to establish how far they were, how far they were in as far as comprehending the issues and adjusting to the, to the assessment modalities, the scenario questions, and all that. And I'm glad to report that indeed our learners are really doing well. Actually, I want to applaud the teachers. The teachers have done their best amidst all the challenges. They've done their best. And one of the characteristics of these new learners, they have this sort of soft drive. They'll go out and do research on their own. They go out and actually they will challenge you. They've been challenging the teachers. Teachers are more as facilitators. So what a teacher does is come up with and the thematic areas are there, so everybody knows about them. So the teachers provides the facilitation, and then the learners go out, they do their research, they come and do the presentation, they share and do everything on their own in classes guided by the teachers. And then we have a critical component of continuous assessment, because one thing about this curriculum is to look out for the competencies about these learners. So when your name comes in at the end of cycle, the framers of this thought that it was not wise enough for you to say that because I failed mathematics, I got 9, therefore I'm not worth it. So we realize and appreciate that you have other competencies that you could be good at. That's right. Good at communication, you're good at writing, you're good at speaking, you're good at at cooking and doing all other things. That's why we have the aspects of continuous assessment, which is done at the schools. We had a challenge of teachers trying to give us the scores for continuous assessment, and as a board, we tried. We've gone out all the schools. We did train at least 15 teachers per school, whether you have a center number or not, expecting that they are going to also to be able to roll out to the other teachers. This year we didn't get a budget for training them, but we hope next year we can be able to get a budget to train more teachers in as far as continuous assessment is being concerned. However, we've done so much. What we did, we put up a call center at the center, and all the schools have they have a portal where they submit those scores continuously. So we know by the time Jennifer came in, she was able to talk to one person. Now she can talk to 3 people. Now she can address maybe a classroom, next an assembly. So we are assessing your communication skills. So eventually, by the time you come to do the end of cycle, we have your scores. We know how far. For them, they just submit. Then your will be the one to do the grading and all that. So registration, by the time of registration, it was a requirement for all the schools to have submitted the scores for continuous assessment. And I'm glad to report that all designers are over 40,000, the designers who have registered with us, we have their scores for continuous assessment, which contributes 20%. Then we have the project work, which is a standalone. We want to establish, you've gotten the content, the knowledge, how are you able to translate this into real life? How are you able to solve a problem using the knowledge you've acquired? So the learners come up with different projects. My son is in S4. He did a project on solar, on a solar light. The day it lit was like, "Mommy, it has lit." He was so excited about it lighting because he had been trying to use the content, putting it in real life into practice. And all of them, when you speak to all of them, they are very innovative. They are outgoing. Even at home, if you have them, you can testify.
Okay.
They will clean the compound. They will clean the house. They are very outgoing. So I think the new curriculum is really good. And in terms of assessment, yes, 20% is by the school-based assessment, and then 80% project is a standalone where you get either an A or B depending on the performance. It's a standalone.
All right. Thank you very much. Honorable, that speaks of so many things that are rolling out. Earlier you talked about some schools, including those that you have been able to visit, where you found learners teaching themselves. When it comes to this particular competence-based, if learners are teaching themselves in some schools, how are they going to assess and then be able to report back or register onto the UNEP portals this kind of assessment?
You see, I think it was even reported here on NTV. I gave my statement on the floor of Parliament, and I gave the situation of the new curriculum, competence-based curriculum, and I gave all the challenges on the floor of Parliament, and no single member of Parliament, even including ministers, challenged my statement. One, there is no, I'm not against having a new curriculum, but the preparation for the curriculum, were we prepared? The answer was not. Because even, you know, those who are studying senior 5, after the new curriculum-based competence curriculum of O level, when they went to senior 5, they went to continue with the old one. Because these ones are issues that are correct, unless you corrected them. Because training for teachers was not done for A level. But one, let me tell you, Neb, most of the portal, their portal, most of the schools were not accessing it very well. When you go to the project, not much work is done. There is a lot of results cooked by teachers to fit within the time required to submit to your name. Not many schools are doing the right work as required by UNEB because of the challenges they have at their schools. What we were asking was government to put in place all the required equipments that can make UNEB achieve its requirements from schools properly and in a correct manner. But the truth of the matter is, if you go deep into the schools, actually you don't need anything about this new curriculum. You just have to look at what I presented on the floor of Parliament as a shadow minister. Frankly speaking, Madam Karoli, let me tell you, you might talk about your child. I will also talk about my child. Mine is in the Printer College in Abingo. Yours is not in the USE school. You and I, our children are not in USE. But if you go deep in Kabongo, you go deep in Kalungu, to dig what exactly is happening in sending off those performances, results, and the project, the performance is poor. But we can agree that you are taking a slow but sure dose, but the results are not going to give you the best out of it. I am saying, and I'm repeating it, the cohorts, you know, for us we call them result 1, result 2, as per your grading. Those who went for senior 5 at the time they went, the A-level teachers who had not been trained in the new curriculum. They were not trained. They had not been trained. And she has told you here by herself that in a school we only train 15 teachers, all two. She has told you here.
15, that is your name.
That's your name.
That's your name. But now I'm talking about a new curriculum movement center.
Assuming, yes, that NCDC.
You see, your name is different from the one who sets the curriculum. I think we have to agree on that. What is happening? Even textbooks are not there.
Okay.
I think we are not there.
Yeah, so many stakeholders in this, no doubt. It's perfectly understandable. Uganda National Examinations Board, the National Curriculum Development Center, Ministry of Education. I think there is need for a
There's something I want to say. You see, while they talk about project, the children, the students must use the environment as it is. But I have visited the schools. The students are used to make projects within the school. How does the project help the community? You get me? If a school is making dustbins out of straws made used to take sodas, or empty plastic bottles, are they taken back to the community to be used to collect garbage?
Okay,
the answer is in abstract.
Let's allow Madam Jennifer Kalule Musamba to wrap this conversation up in a minute.
Thank you so much, and I want to thank Honorable for all the support. My final call is to the teachers out there. First and foremost, we are very grateful you joined us for the supervision of the UCE examinations. Kindly don't listen to Honorable. Join us for the supervision of PL examination, even the supervision of USC examinations, because these are your candidates, these are your learners you've been teaching over the years, and please join us to assist them under effective supervision. We hope for that. Please, thank you so much for supporting us, and thanks NTV for having us.
Thank you, Madam Jennifer Kalule Musamba, Public Relations Officer at the Uganda National Examinations Board. Many thanks to you too, Honorable Joseph Sewungu, Minister, Shadow Minister for Education and Professional Teacher.
So the other encouragement should do not
Kalungu.
go unattended too. Teachers don't fear, don't go for PLE. Keep at home until you get your money.
All right, that call is understood, and of course the plight of the teachers is very understandable. We hope that government can attend to these matters as early as possible. Let's continue our updates on the UCE across the country. We're now joined by Rashul Adidi. Good morning, Mr. Adidi. Good morning, Mr. Didi.
From Komoko State, where the examination materials. Now, just some few minutes back, there were a number of head teachers and some of the directors of studies here collecting the examination materials. And of course, when you look at the timetable, the examination is supposed to kick off at exactly 9. So if you look at the time, we are only left with a few minutes for these candidates to start writing their papers. And according to the timetable, this morning the candidates are supposed to write physics paper 1, and then in the afternoon, majority of the schools in Koboko have confirmed that in the afternoon the candidates will not be sitting for any paper. When you talk about Koboko, according to the current data, there are a total of 16 centers and a total of 1,742 candidates have been registered. However, I did interact with a number of head teachers here when they were collecting the materials. Some of them said that there are some candidates who have opted out, while others are actually experiencing some kind of sicknesses that can't permit them to sit for these examinations. For example, I interacted with the head teacher of Kochi Secondary School, who confirmed that out of 232 candidates who are registered, only 230 are sitting, and his reason is that one of the candidates has mental problem, meanwhile the other candidate got married. And then when you go to, that is Nyarilo Secondary School, I'm told all the candidates have sat, and to have this conversation better, I'm also told at St. Charles Luanga College, Koboko, one candidate didn't sit out of the total number of candidates who have been registered. To have this conversation better this morning, I'm delighted to be joined by, that is the center supervisor for Koboko. If my camera person can first close. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Tell us, how has the exercise begun? This is so far day 2.
General exam is going on well in Koboko, and we have not registered any serious challenge as per now, except the few centers where candidates are missing and without proper reason to the teachers.
So maybe when you look at this, how is it going to affect? Will it have any kind of impact at the end of the examination, and also when they will be releasing the results?
No, that may not have any serious impact, because the number that are missing is really very small. Like for our center, St. Charles Luang is only one candidate that is missing, and when we try to check with the father was even not clear about the whereabouts of the son. But from what we are getting from the friends, he seems on the run because of a criminal act. And other centers, you find only 1 or 2 missing, which is really negligible.
Thank you very much. Mr. Okenyi Francis happens to be the area supervisor for Koboko, and he has just confirmed, even in Padombo Secondary School, I'm told one candidate didn't surface for the examination yesterday. We don't know what the case will be today, but we were told that yesterday one candidate didn't surface. Away from the issues of education, today the NRM presidential candidate is expected to touch base in Maracha district in the morning, and then in the afternoon is expected to be here in Koboko. Now, while yesterday in Arua, the number of people who attended the rally raised some issues, and the major issue centered on the currently ongoing teacher strike, which the parents say is affecting their children. Majority of the children are home, coupled with already the disadvantaged education system in the region. They are worried that this will affect their children in the long run. He's expected to have his rally this morning in Maracha district, which is a district along the way to Koboko. And then after Maracha, he's supposed to end his campaigns of the day in Koboko. And of course, as NTV, our cameras are set to bring you the comprehensive details of this story in our subsequent news bulletin. That is NTV at 1, NTV at Kaungezi, and NTV Tonight. Now, allow me to link to my colleague, that is Benjamin Jumbe, who is currently in Eastern. And today we got to learn that the new presidential candidate, Robert Chagulanyi, will be in Butaleja. Kindly, Jumbe, tell us what is in the other side of the country, especially Eastern, the camp where you are right now.